Gemini, welcome to your weekly reading. This is a general reading for the sign of Gemini. If you have Gemini anywhere in your birth chart, please know that there is a message in this reading for you. Thank you, Spirit. Messages for the sign of Gemini. Also, if you have come across this reading for no in particular reason, you were just drawn to this reading, please know that there is a message here for you as well. Spirit does work in amazing and wonderful ways like this. You will find a message. You will find the message in this reading, in any reading, but Spirit is constantly sending us messages, and we will find, hear, and listen to that message when we are ready or in a position to receive that message. Thank you, Spirit. Messages for the sign of Gemini. Also, Gemini, this month, the new moon in the sign of Leo, we may find ourselves in the spotlight and not knowing what to do. We may be put in a position to receive criticism. When we receive criticism or perceived criticism, Gemini, that is Spirit asking us to accept feedback in a positive light. When we accept feedback in a positive light, we determine whether that feedback, whether that criticism is going to be used to deflate our ego or to build ourselves up. Thank you, Spirit. Messages for the sign of Gemini. Thank you. And we have the Tower card. Let's see how that Tower card plays into this reading, Gemini. And so when we see the Tower card, that is a change. That is a forced change. That is a change that maybe we may not have wanted to happen or have not seen coming, but it is something big, something life-changing. Let's see how that plays into these cards here. Looking towards the future, on a new journey. Wish fulfillment. Why do we have the Tower card here? We have wish fulfillment. We have abundance. We have yourself looking towards the future. Looking towards the future in your business, in your professional, in your career life. And we have the Hierophant here, which is the number 5 card. And 5 is about change. When we think of the number 5, we think about change. Are you going to be called to change something, to learn something? And when we see this Fool card, we also think about patience. Be flexible in your work life, in your professional life, in your public life. I see you're looking towards the future. You're looking towards wish fulfillment. But be patient, be flexible. Perhaps you have been, see that Hierophant, being extremely rigid. Has there been something in your career, in your work life, in your public life, something that you have been extremely rigid about? And is this rigidity, this rigidness, coming from a place of lack lack of trust or misplaced trust. You've misplaced trust in the past. And now you have yourself questioning, moving into the future, if this is more misplaced trust. And the best trust that you can have is the trust that comes from within yourself. Trust yourself. When you trust yourself and you set in place a plan and you trust yourself to follow that plan, you can then begin to trust others and become less rigid on whatever this situation is that you're being rigid about. Trust but verify. I don't know, was that, who's reading? I think there was a reading last week that I did, but we talked about trusting and verifying. So any good leader, any good manager, self-manager of self, will trust but verify. And when we trust but verify, it's that we know that regardless of how others react or what others do, we have a plan or a tentative plan set in place. And so quite possibly, if you're thinking about starting something new, if you're thinking about starting a new partnership, if you're thinking about moving or changing careers or going to school or whatever it is that you're planning on doing, don't hold yourself back, but have two plans. Have, what are you going to do if this is successful? What are you going to do if it is not successful? And by having that plan in place, you can trust by knowing that you will act appropriately to your best interest, regardless of what the situation is. In your home life, look at all these words. Words in turmoil. Things have been really going well for you in your home life these past few weeks. But they're not going as you expected them. They're not going as you would like them to. There's a lot of masculine energy here, Gemini. And again, a lot of rigidness. This tower and the double. This tower is here to force this change in your home life, to force this change in your personal life. It is time for you to put the past behind you. It is time. Was that your last week's reading? We were talking about words, finding the words, using the words, gathering the words. Let's see here, Gemini, what is this? You do not need to have closure. Yes. revisit your last week's reading if you have not already seen that. Are you still looking for that closure? Are you still looking for those words? You're still letting the past affect your present, the past affect your future. And your refusal to move on from this, or somebody, maybe this isn't your refusal, maybe this is the refusal of somebody that you were in a relationship of, somebody that you were close with, a family member, a partner, a lover, but there's a refusal to let something go. I don't know if this is your refusal or their refusal, but that is what's causing this Tower moment. And I see these words here, these words that really don't need to be had. You can find closure without these words. You can move on without that one last conversation. You can move on without having to be right, or without having to be wrong, or without this person having to be right, or this person having to be wrong. Spirit is asking you, Spirit is moving you, Spirit is nudging you into just putting it down and moving forward without any words, without any closure. Final thoughts, final messages. There you are. There you are. Looking back, somebody is somebody, you know, and Gemini, it could be someone else pulling you in, drawing you back. You may have put this to rest. You may have been putting this to an end and putting this behind you. But the other person involved may be pulling you back, pulling you back, pulling you back. And they can pull you back into that thought process, into that situation, just by their thoughts alone. You don't even need to be having contact with them. They can be doing that on the energetic level. They can be doing that with their energy. They can be doing that with their thoughts. And you can have a soul tie cutting ceremony. You can have a burning bowl ceremony. There's many things that you can do apart, or to separate yourself from these thoughts, these feelings, these words, to close that out. And you may need to go through a ceremony or close that out several times, but you can do it. You will find the words here. You will find the words. You will find the ability. The universe is bringing in you that gift. The universe is bringing in you that Tower moment to help you seek, to find that closure, to help you move on like you would like to move on, to receive that Ten of Cups, to receive that happy life that you so richly deserve. To receive that life, that those gifts, those miracles, those manifestations that you deserve, you can bring those in. And I will post a link in the description of a couple of books, a couple of websites, a couple of maybe a YouTube channel or two that can really help you look and delve deeper into some of the processes that you can do to cut this soul tie. I really believe this is all about cutting a soul tie, Gemini, and it's going to require work and effort on your part alone. But it will be well worth the effort. And that is the message that I have for the sign of Gemini. Thank you, Gemini. Please leave in the comments Leave in the comments, what are you leaving behind? What are you putting behind you? What is motivating you to move forward? Thank you, Gemini. You have a blessed week.